Hello everyone, this is Cookie King, and I'm going to be doing a cast of a game that was sent in to me by another Redditor. This is the second cast I'm doing from Redditors, and it was sent in by xhO, who is our red Zerg in the, I guess this would be the westernmost spawn, and then he is playing against jLamu, the blue Terran, in the southernmost spawn. Now, they spawn close air positions, so I would not at all be surprised to see some sort of airplay. Either mutas from the Zerg, or some medevac drop play from the Terran. It's very powerful, seeing as the flying distance is extremely short. It's much quicker to drop than to walk around. So we have our red Zerg player commenting on how he likes Metalopolis in the pool, and apparently the blue Terran thinks that this map is better than Urine. You know, makes sense. I do prefer my StarCraft 2 maps over Urine, but I don't know, maybe he was referring to a different map that currently I'm not able to think of, so we're gonna just go ahead and assume that this Terran does have the correct opinion that Metalopolis is in fact better than Urine. But back to the game. We have nothing too substantial going on. We have a Rax going down for jLamu and a expansion at 15 hatch. Wouldn't be surprised to see a 15 pool once he gathers the correct amount of resources, being 200 whenever that comes up. So this barracks has been scouted. He's probably not expecting anything crazy, especially if he comes down here. It looks like our Terran's waiting for money for an expansion, and there it goes. So both of our players expanding relatively quickly. Got a gas going up for our red Zerg, xhO. I'm not sure really how I can pronounce it quickly. Oh, and we have a bunker going down over here. Is that actually within our... I'm sure that is, yeah. You can see that. Pulling some drones, swiping around. He's easily going to stop this. Gets the bunker to cancel. Chases away the SCV. So not much gain, not much lost. Other than the 25 minerals for the Terran. And a little minor amount of mining time for our Zerg. He only pulled a couple of drones off, which was smart. Any more than 3, I would say, would probably be quite the overreaction. Got the orbital command all finished up, taking his first gas, and he has not yet started metabolic boost. Probably gonna spend his first 100 gas when he gets that, throwing down his spine. This expansion's almost done. Looks like our blue Terran is gearing up for some defensive play. He's getting a bunker down. I guess he's worried about something early. Although he scouted the pool timing and saw that it was a pretty late pool, and he obviously saw the expansion. So, not sure what kind of early aggression he could be expecting. So we have the Queen popping out. Metabolic boost started just a little while ago. Got this spine, got a Queen injecting. All looks good. Got some Zerglings here. All looks pretty good for our Zerg player. And he even has a couple of Overlords positioned to spot any drops. However, there is a Dark Zone that if our Terran player was to utilize, he would not be spotted. Well, it looks like some undersaturation here for jLamu, our blue Protoss buddy old friend. He has very few workers, actually. 19 SCVs, 2 mules, compared to our now 30 from xhO, who is heavily droning. 6 more drones in production. He's obviously wanting to gear up for a longer macro game, which is what he's going to be able to do given the lack of buildings to produce units even that jLamu has. He won't be able to ramp up and get that early pressure on. So it looks like, even looking at our income tab, our Zerg is quite out ahead. So, pretty good saturated bases. Got some double Evo chamber. I personally am a fan of the double Evo chamber myself. I love getting those upgrades up quickly. Upgrades are very nice to have, making all your units better. Got 2 bunkers here now. Kind of interesting. He's got this position to hopefully block any Ling run-bys that might come through, but I don't think that's the plan that xhO has, as he has very few Lings. He has 9 Lings, which is, it would be enough to get a good run-by, but with the defense that jLamu has set up, it wouldn't do hardly any damage, if any at all. Started one of his Evo Chambers researching, and Overlord over here. I would not be too surprised to see our Zerg take a 3rd expansion relatively quickly. But you never know. Got some Overlords just chilling over here. A nice little spot to hold them. Although jLamu is going for a Viking, which he might use to send around the map and hopefully knock out a few Overlords and send our Zerg into the red supply. Scouting SCV, just looking around, checking to see are there any bases up, any hidden expansions by the Zerg, which there are not. He's contained to these 2 bases, and he's sending these Lings out. I think he might have spotted this SCV, so he's sending the Lings out to go and find them. jLamu throwing up a missile turret for some defense, I guess. He hasn't seen anything hardly at all recently. He hasn't scouted the base in a recent time whatsoever. And yep, there's that Viking. Probably going to be able to pick off an easy Overlord or 2, which will end up dropping our Zerg probably into negative supply. The spire is going up. Where's that at? There it is. That's a small little building. It's a really small little spawning bubble. So, oops. So I guess jLamu was good in putting out a missile turret. Maybe it was also to detect burrowed units, but I don't think burrowed units are too common. Yeah, and this bunker kind of a little misplaced. It's going to make mining these guys are slightly less effective, but I mean, not that much. Scan going down. He's finally getting some more scouting info. Has in fact scanned both of the bases to see a huge amount of drones. Just drones everywhere. There's a lot of them. In fact, I would definitely say that's a bit of oversaturation there, since the drones are jumping from mineral patch to mineral patch. This one looks pretty well saturated though. So we got some more Evo Chamber upgrades, getting melee attacks too. The Spire's almost done, and he's got a nice bank. He'll be able to get probably about 8 mutas by the time that's done. He'll be able to spawn 7 right away, with an 8th one really quick. And then his 3rd is going down. Although, alright, our Terran buddy has knocked up his SCV count quite a bit. He's got 3 Vikings too, 3 tanks, and 6 Marines, which really isn't a force to be reckoned with. Most Terrans would have quite a bit more by now. The supply is pretty close, 98 to 77. Those 8 mutas are in fact on the way. He's started Flyer Attack 1, some Baneling Speed, which are very nice for dealing with Marines, because Marines are pretty strong against mutas, but Ling, Baneling, Muta is a very common strategy that seems to work out well, especially in the pro scene. Requires quite a bit of micro, but it can be done. Taking out that Viking. No more Vikings sniping the Overlords. I don't think it got too many anyway, but it is always a pain to have to rebuild those Overlords, especially if you get supply blocked and you are unable to construct, or I guess in this case, spawn units. So mutas flying over. jLamu does know that there are mutas, and as a result, he does have a Thor. Ooh, that was a nice Thor shot. They got a bunch of damage on the mutas. But he has some Vikings. He's got a Thor. He's got missile turrets. Pretty well placed. I mean, yeah, his mineral fields are completely protected. These couple are gonna hit him when they go in. And although it does not look like he does not have any down here, but he does have a lot of Marines, and he has those bunkers to protect. Pumping out Thors 2 at a time. Thors are a pretty good unit. Not gonna lie, they're not a bad quality unit, especially massed. They're really difficult to deal with. So xhO is going to want to somehow prevent jLamu from getting a lot of Thors. Especially a lot of Thors won't work, or will work very well against mutas. So he's continuing to produce mutas. He is currently at 11 on the map. Knock that up to 13 with 2 more on the way for 15. And for the ground units, they are, or I guess the melee ground units, the Zerglings are 1-2. I guess it would be 2-1. I feel like they should switch that. Attack should be first, in my opinion. But it's whatever. It's Blizzard's game. They can do what they want. I got a Roach Warren going down. Roaches are nice. Good unit to have. I like them against Thors. And this third has been thrown down. It's being morphed into a... Or it's not being morphed into a planetary. In fact, that is a completed planetary, making some SCVs. It's got a couple of mules down. This is definitely protected from any type of mutas. Even... Yeah. I'm not sure xhO... Right, he's choosing to engage. Repaired turret was... he was able to hold him off. It killed quite a few units. Not a good exchange for xhO, since he was only able to take out, I think, maybe a mule, maybe a couple SCVs, and a turret, so that was not at all good. Taking his fourth. Fourth bases are nice for Zerg. And we've got, what's the Thor count? We've got 3 Thors. Thor's fourth one on the way. Got a couple of Hellions. Hellions, pretty good. They do, in fact, have Blue Flame. So that makes them even more deadly against Zerglings. To kill the Zerglings really quick. If he chooses to send them into the mineral lines too, they'll kill them really quick. This base is kind of undersaturated. Quite a bit, actually. Some of the patches aren't even being mined at all. But, you know, whatever. Can do what he wants. He's got 4 bunkers. He's definitely going more turtley. He's gonna want to get a lot of upgrades and stuff before he decides to move out, which could be harmful for a Zerg player. Although our Zerg player is keeping up with upgrades. He's currently getting missile attack 1 for the ground units and Zerg flyer attack 2. He's getting some roach upgrades for when he will if he engages now. I would say he'll probably, well, I don't know. He's got quite a few wings. It kind of depends, I guess, on one. If these siege tanks were to be sieged up, that would be devastating for all the Zerglings. But the Thors are pretty good. There's a lot of Marines, and especially if he was to engage here, there are bunkers, which would do quite a lot of damage to all these Lings. And for the most part, xhO only has Lings. He's got... excuse me. He is up on our Terran player by 9 workers. He has 1 more base than the Terran player, and it looks like the Terran player is possibly thinking about taking the gold. Nope, it looks like he's just deciding that as an avenue to go. He's got a couple of mutas over here. The muta count's rather high now. It's at 25. These mutas, pretty good. Not against Thors, though. Especially, you don't want to clump them up like this. If they were to be engaging the Thors all clumped up, that would not be good news. It would be a lot of lost resources. Morphing 18 Banelings. That's nice. I like Banelings personally. Especially they have the speed, still they'll be able to roll through, do lots of damage. They've got the second damage upgrade with the Zerg melee attack 3 coming up, Adrenal Glance coming up, and Zerg ground carapace level 2 coming up. Oh, and here's an engagement. Lots of Thors. Oh, those mutas are all taking heavy damage. They were very much clumped together, but it doesn't matter because of the massive amount of units that xhO has, and he cleans that up with ease. jLamu's army simply was not enough. Not enough by a long shot. And looking at our supply, jLamu is restocking pretty quickly. It's pretty even. All these Zerg units are trekking to the other side of the field. And I'm not sure, does he see that? He does not see that expansion. So, oh, he spotted it, and he's going to take it out. Oh, no, yeah, the mutas will get it. No problem. No problems there.
Are under attack.
So upgrades, getting the Greater Spire, getting some Corruptors out for Broodlords. Broodlords are nice, especially against an opponent who's turtling. I guess jLamu isn't turtling too much, I would say. And just because I feel like it's a relatively easy turtle to break in that he doesn't really have a lot of tanks to defend. Yeah, sure, he's got 4 up here. They've got 2 attack. But then he's got these 2 down here not sieged, and there's a lot of vulnerable area. If xhO was to run through with Lynx, he could easily get down here. And with his adrenal glands just finishing up, the Lynx would make short work of most of those SCVs. And then he could just waltz into the main, where most of the production facilities are. There are 4 factories down here, which they aren't doing anything at the moment. In fact, only 1 Thor is being made, which seems rather silly given all the production facilities owned by our, sorry, not our Protoss player, our Terran player. So this 5th base going down for the Zerg. Got the extractors up, need that gas late game. As we can see, he has a lot of minerals. Restocking will be easy. I would think a macro hatch could be in order just to need lots of larvae. And even like looking at this queen over the course of the game, it's managed to stock up 120 energy, which is quite a few injects, quite a few mist larvae. So throwing down a macro hatch is nice for players. Even this queen has full energy, almost. And this engagement's going down, and oh, because of the blue flame Hellions, the Lings alone were not able to clean that up. But there are Broodlords, and although there are Vikings, there are only 2. Are there any Corruptors on the field? I don't believe there are any Corruptors, so the Vikings will actually do quite a bit of damage to these Broodlords, and I don't think there's anything xhO can do. The Marines and Mirage took out the base. Moving up to this 5th base, I'm going to be able to kill quite a few drones, maybe. I mean, might just opt to weaken all of them by a bit instead of killing them. Just going to try to kill this base, but I do believe this is going to be cleaned up very quickly. 3-3 Banelings and 3-3 Zerglings with adrenal glands are pretty good. Decided to take the gold. Gold's always nice, especially when you have the control that I'm sure our Zerg player is feeling that he has. As actually, jLamu only has 5 attacking units. I guess SCVs are technically attacking units, but I'm not going to count those for obvious reasons. So, oh, we got 6 Hellions. We got a lot of Hellions right away. I guess with all these factories, although they are not being used yet. Combat Shield and Stim just now being researched. That's a very late time to research those at 23 minutes into the game. Zerglings moving across the map. The Banelings following up behind. Zerg Flyer attack level 3. Interesting. You don't see that in too many games. Just because it just seems like most players don't opt to get too many flyer upgrades, or by the time they do, there are those macro hatches. 2 macro hatches being thrown down. This base is being retaken. This base did not die, but an attack was just thwarted. And our Terran player is not doing too bad on mining, but the incomes are about the same, probably because of... Do we have any mules on the field? There are no mules, actually. So it's just 3 bases are mining for each of our players. Planetary being... once again, that's not being morphed. That's making an SCV. Never seem to catch the planetaries when they're making themselves into planetaries. This building is kind of whizzing out. Broodlords flying over, hoping to siege down the base. These Crypt Tumors just hanging out, fully charged, you know. Why not? Just chill out. Oh, there's Vikings. Probably gonna notice these Broodlings tearing apart this. The Broodlings actually do benefit from the ground attack, which is nice. And there's the reaction from jLamu. She's going to be able to clean up these Broodlords very quickly, even they're only a handful of mutas, although that's apparently enough to make... Okay, there they go. Mutas are dead. Broodlords are going to go next to these 6 or so Vikings. Yep, 6 Vikings. But then there's not much to stop this onslaught of Lings and Banelings, which decides to retreat instead. So we've got 9 Ultralisks on the way, taking 55 seconds to make instead of the previous much longer time. Drones finished their mining there. A little excess there, but probably not worth it to send drones to mine. Zerg missile attack level 2 is being researched. Both of our players are pretty high up in the bank. Our Zerg player could pretty much lose his army and restock it instantly, provided he has the larva. He does have quite a bit of larva stored up. I don't think that would be enough personally. Well, I guess it's not really an opinion, but I don't think he would have enough to restock his army instantly. But he would be able to make it very quickly, and much quicker than our Terran player, who does not have that many production facilities. This base is completely mined out. No gas, no minerals. This base is getting pretty low on everything. This base is, it's not that low. It's pretty well off. And this base has just started been mining, so it threw down a missile turret to defend his no base. This attack's going on. This is going to probably kill all these guns. As Blue Flame Aliens are very good against Blue. Oh, maybe he's going to kill this larva off? No, apparently not. Got it pretty low, but apparently was not his objective. A counterattack going on down here. All these Lings tearing up the base. Banelings deciding to chase after the Hellions. Interesting choice. Hellions are up here, taking out stuff. Thors, taking out bad stuff over there. The Zerg player decided to retreat to save his bases up here with all these Ultralisks. All these Ultralisks running up, trying to make short work of the Thors, which they will do quite nicely. Hellions are going to try and hide in the smoke. No, they're not. They're going to try and run, which is not going to work against these Ultralisks. Looks like this base, it got lifted up, but it is on fire. And fire kills buildings. And we're now down to 200 supply for our Zerg and 107 for our Terran, although the Terran does have a worker lead. These Vikings have landed, shooting units on the ground. Vikings are pretty good on the ground. They're not terrible, to be honest. But, yep, Ultralisk took out 2 of them. Got some more Vikings flying over. I'm not sure what exactly he's going to go for, as there are 21 Ultralisks on the field. That's kind of ridiculous. Just a little bit. Not something you'll see every day. Making a lot of Overlords for Overlords knows he's probably going to lose pretty quick. But this base is going to be taken out. Planetary will die very soon. There are a couple SCVs repairing, but that doesn't matter once the Ultras sweep in. And over here, he's getting a lot of production facilities, getting some add-ons, but the Lings and Ultras show up. That is a lot of Ultralisks, which might not, we should probably split them up and send some of them into the main base, because half of them probably won't even get one attack off from the sieging of this base. But you never know. SCV is preparing the planetary. Okay, looks like they are all going to attack. But the Ultralisks have a very large wave of attack. A little kind of mini counterattack going on over here. But it looks like our blue Terran player is reaching the end of his game. A lone Viking up here shooting stuff. Some Hellions chilling outside the third base. Another Viking killing some stuff. Going to be attacked by drones. Letting the spine plant as we come back to here, and we have all the cool Ultralisks killing stuff. So that's an insane amount of Ultralisks. That's just something you don't see every day. We got the Vikings over here taking on some guys, but there are a lot of Corruptors on the field now. 12 Corruptors. Got some Hellions coming out in the latch dish effort for jLamu's 35 supply to beat xhO's 161 supply. I'm sure xhO rather has more supply in Ultralisks than jLamu has in the entire game. Hellions just kind of running around, trying to get work done, but there's not much work to be done for the Hellions, as they would have to eventually face these Ultralisks, which would end very poorly for the Hellions, as all these buildings are soon going to get cleaned up. You would expect a GG from jLamu pretty quickly. It's pretty obvious this game is over. 15 supply to 159. But jLamu is going to keep on playing. Keep on trying. You might get this base down. This SCV does have... Oh, no, looks like he's going to keep going. And the game is over. With our Ultralisk-loving Zerg player, xhO, winning the game with a final count of 16 Ultralisks. So I hope you enjoyed the cast. My name, once again, is Cookie King. I encourage you to check out my YouTube channel, which is Cookie King SC2. Check that out. And I'm doing casts for people on Reddit. Check out Reddit, specifically the StarCraft subreddit. And it's a pretty cool place for everyone who's enthusiastic about StarCraft. If you found this cast, then you probably came from there, most likely. But if you didn't, check it out. It's a great place with a great community. And if you would like me to do a cast of one of your games, I would be happy to do so. And just email me at the email is in the comments, or it's more like it's sorry, it's in the description. So, but anyway, my email is cookiekingsc@gmail.com. So if you'd like me to cast, shoot me a replay there of your coolest game, a wacky game, any type of game you played, and I'll cast it if I can. So with that, I'm going to say goodnight to you guys and have a awesome day, night, whenever, whatever time period.